just want you to sit in your chair and go, hip hip hooray, for the Western press and the Western narrative, regurgitating the same old, same old, same old, every single day, without exception. Please watch the first series, the first 2 episodes, the second series. Look at that.
Absolutely fascinating.
And it was the first time the Beatles had really stopped being semi-professional almost.
Hi everyone, it's me again. Never seems to be off this bloody thing. Anyway, it's a good evening from me. It's current affairs. It's and I know some people like the show last night with Jamie Williams and the paranormal. I went to bed at 10:30 last night. I was so tired. And when I was in bed, I didn't wake up until 4 o'clock, right, in the morning, that is. So I had a great sleep from 10:30 right through. And the next I'm lying there and I go, I won't be able to sleep. So I tried to go back asleep and I heard this, and it's still dark, you know. And I heard this almighty bang. An almighty bang I heard. And I was awake ever since. Oh God. Well, I wasn't even asleep. I was trying to go back to sleep. Anyway, and that's your paranormal for you. Absolutely ridiculous. And he's a nice lad though, Jamie. And he will be back on, as you know, in the next week or two. He's always offered me a book, you know, and no thanks. I'd rather read Oliver Twist. That's me. Coward. Edward, great show last night. Oh, thank you, Edward. Glad you enjoyed it. I really am. Glad everybody whoever watched it and enjoyed it. Because he's a nice fella, Jamie. And you know what? I couldn't hear him, you know. I couldn't hear him until the last, I think, 20 minutes of the show. Couldn't hear what he was saying. I was straining because something has happened to the volume in here. And Jason, you know, finally got hold and hit his volume up. Because I asked him at the beginning, I said, can you turn your volume up? Couldn't hear him. Couldn't even answer anything. I'm being honest, just couldn't. And I'm terrible at lip reading as well. Anyway, Simon, my glasses. Excuse me. Even in Frankenstein, what a shocking week we start with Angela Rayner and the stamp duty. Mandelson and Epstein. And the Russian drones landing in Poland and Charlie Kirk's assassination. It's been a wild week. It has actually. I was Charlie Kirk. I've watched a few of his debates, but mainly in America. And this is over the months, you know, when I go on, I'd get all sad, but I took no notice of him. I really didn't. The only thing I liked about him was about free speech. I liked him what he was saying about free speech. So I said, well, that's good, you know, come on. But then he went on to some other things. He went on about, he was going on about suicide in males. He said, so if you're a Christian, that's what he's saying, if you're a Christian and you get married, it stops the suicide rate. I thought, is he having a laugh? Is he having a laugh? A happy marriage stops us. Oh, come on. The divorce rate has gone through the roof. And there's no suicides afterwards. I don't know where he got that from. So, I thought, oh, can't be bothered with this fella. Then today, I watched it, and I knew that he was given a student union at Oxford. A student union debate, but that was months ago. Months ago. And I thought, oh, come on here. You know, YouTube. Nah, I didn't. And I got it today. Finally came up. And I read the comments about Charlie. And he was a lambasted. He was shouting, he really was, he was shouting down. Typical American, you know the way they shout down, I'm right, you're wrong. We've got the biggest, you've got the smallest, you know, and all this crap, which they give. I've experienced it with them. I've experienced with them, you know, oh, we're a better thing. Never forget an ex-vice president, I forget what bank, I really do. I don't know whether it was JP Morgan or an elderly gentleman sitting. I was sitting in Florence in this big piazza. Well, it wasn't big, it was small. And right next to me was the Santa Croce Church with the likes of Machiavelli, Dante, Da Vinci, Angelo in there. And I just said, I heard him speaking, I didn't know who he was. And I was waiting for her, she was looking at the jewellery shops. And I said to him, have you been in the Santa Croce? What for? And I told him who's buried in the tombs. Really? And you want me to go in there and look at the... And I went, you ignoramus, you know, to myself, I said, you ignoramus. He said, I just want to go home. I don't know why I've come on this vacation. 6 weeks. I said, did you go to England? He said, yes, and it rained. Rain. Oh, I said, fuck you, mate. You know, this was a typical American. And I taught ignoramus here. Ignoramus. And what I want you to do, Google clueless Americans. You want to hear what they say? They haven't a clue. Haven't a clue. One landed in London and said, are we in the country of London now? He said, well, you're in London, yeah, you're at Heathrow. Well, I want to visit England. He said, you are in England. Oh, is England the capital of London? And they're on vacation, Jesus. So, you know, but Mendelssohn and Epstein, yeah, it's shocking. The Russian drones, absolutely pathetic. I believe what's been said about them. Have a look at the photograph. And these experts, said, have a look. And they've got it, they've got one, right. And it's got duct tape around it. It's been fixed. It's landed somewhere in the field. They've captured it, but that's what they do, you see. They've captured Russian drones that just fall, especially reconnaissance drones. So I believe that, they sent it up. It's just like when you go back to the missiles that were sent into Poland and they hit a farm and killed 2 occupants, 2 farmers, and they blamed the Russians. They blamed the Russians for the Nord Stream. They blamed the Russians for everything. And Zelensky's trying to get NATO into, he wants America to put boots on the ground, because he's defeated. He's got no army. In relation to Charlie Kirk, whether you agreed with his views or not, he was a man of integrity and he prepared to debate with anyone. Have a look at that. Have a look at the thing and come back and let me know. All right, Simon. Have a look at the Oxford Student Union debate and see how he just goes on, undermining the students. Americans can talk, and he said, I've never been to university. I've never been. I don't need to go to university. He was speaking to Oxford undergraduates. And read the comments, by the way. Read the comments as well, Simon. Okay. The world has lost a good man, in your opinion. Well, there you go. In your opinion. I don't want to see anyone being shot dead. I really don't. The greatest, one of the greatest gifts the world has seen, and he was assassinated, which upset me more, was John Lennon, a great activist. That upset me more than Charlie Kirk. Frank, have you read the recent report by the UN Human Rights? Don't forget, before I read on, who owns the UN? Who owns NATO? Right, so I'll go on now. Human Rights Office that North Korea has been increasing the death penalty and tightened the controls all aspects of citizens' lives. Do we believe the UN? I'll let you answer that. I'm not answering it. If liberty means anything at all, it means the right to... Yes, totally agree. Oh dear, George Orwell said it. Well, there you go. I've been watching today. I haven't finished it yet. And it was made in 1936. Things to Come. H.G. Wells. Remember when I've said about him being a visionary? Have a look at that. And they made it into colour. And it was made in 1936. So you can imagine when it was written. It wasn't written in 1936, might I add. Just have a look at it on YouTube. Things to Come. Happy Friday, Frank, and everyone in the chat says the lovely ambidextrous. Hello. Do you know what? Oh, never mind. Eric Scar, hello, Frank, and everyone else in the chat. I'm going to go right down, people, to you. I'm going to try and say hello to everyone. Hello, Eric. Thanks for joining us. Toscana, to Simon. Agree completely with your views on Charlie Kirk. I followed him. Well, there you go. There you go. And Stephen says, I seen the footage of Charlie Kirk being shot and don't believe what they are saying in the mainstream media. It looked like a professional assassin. Well, they've got him, haven't they? They're saying, you know, they got mug shots of him, man. Want to say, Franco and chatters, hope you're all well. Love last night's chat. Very interesting, says the lovely Toscana. I should have got hold of you today. Not literally, like, but as I said, you know, just slept. Then he had my daughter on the phone. Callum, I didn't like Charlie at all, his views, but assassination is too far, says, yeah, there you go. I don't like any assassinations. None at all. You know, we can agree to disagree. But when you just have a look at his Oxford Union team, I was told months ago. He just shouted at the, you know, it was a question and answer at the end, right? Now he's supposed to answer the questions. You know? Then he was asking them, yes or no? Yeah, yes or no? Well, mate, you don't do that in fucking debates. Netanyahu, says Callum, there won't be a Palestinian state. UN, there's going to be a two-way state. As 142 countries vote for this, then you're going to get the veto of America because they own the UN. Getting back to Simon, I always remember reading a few years ago, and I mean a few years ago, about North Korea. And, you know, the leader, Young Kim, oh, right, him. And he said that it said that he has a disagreement with his uncle. I don't know whether you ever read it or heard about it, I just don't know. And it said they starved his uncle and starved the dogs. Cut his uncle and sent him out to the dogs. The dogs ate him alive. If anyone can believe that, Kim Jong-un, his uncle. I didn't believe it at all. And have a look at Pyongyang. It's fantastic. Well, you know, even like if he has about freedom of speech, that's fine. It's got freedom of speech here. What can you fucking do? You go to jail here. Johan, good evening, Frank and legends in the chat. Open everyone as well. Great show last night, Frank. Glad you're out of that creepy mansion. So am I. So am I, Johan. It was weird, that, wasn't it? It's Jason for you. Wants to frighten me. Wants to frighten Jason. Wants to frighten me. And Callum says, actually, I'd call Benjamin Netanyahu by Benjamin Milovsky. That's what he changed the names. It's like a lot of actors and actresses. They drop all their Jewish names. Why? I remember the Italians coming into this country here, and I know them. And they had to drop to get work their Italian names. You had loads of Irish coming into this, and they had to drop their names, you know, like Kelly, O'Kelly, and spelt differently. And they had to drop the O. And it was shocking. They anglicised the names. You look at Frank Sinatra, and when he was over there at Jerry Dorsey, he said to him, I listen, change your name, you know. And his mother went to Sinatra's mother went to see him. She said, my son's not changing his name for you or anybody else. Bobby Darin had to change his name. He was sitting over with his girlfriends looking at a Chinese restaurant. And he was looking like, and he had to change his name. His agent said, listen, change your name. Get rid of that Italian. And he was looking at I think it was called Mandarin, you know, the restaurant, Chinese restaurant. So he put it to, you know, Darren. I didn't call myself Darren. There's loads like that. Bobby Rydell, Bobby V, you know, those in the early 60s, late 50s, early 60s. Anglicise your name and you get on. My family wouldn't change their names. No fucking way. Stay. I just seen a picture of Nigel Farage having a meeting with Israeli Isaac. I was listening to the student union and John Kirk, I'm sorry, I'm saying John Kirk. Charlie Kirk was praising Nigel Farage. We don't want to see him as your next Prime Minister. He'll stop all this. And I tell you what, they were sitting there, they were laughing at him as well. They were actually laughing at him, the students. And he didn't like it. You could see he didn't like it. Bella, when I say the Franco and Chats, great show last night. Thank you. Unless you enjoyed it. Everyone said. Callum says, I don't like America at all. They are childish as. Then Trump's blaming it on one side. No, Trump, it's a gun issue altogether, you pleb. I know, they want guns, let them have them. I mentioned that to that Gavin Newsom. How do we stop? How do we stop these shootings in schools? Don't sell fucking guns. I'll soon stop. But it's their amendments, innit? I don't know what amendment it is like. It's their rights to buy a gun. They buy guns and shoot people. And as someone says, it's not the air guns that kill, it's the people. Well, if they never had a fucking gun, they wouldn't be killing, would they? Ridiculous. They try to have an answer for everything. Those morons, says the Redbirds, are laughing at Charlie's passing are sick cretins. He was a good Christian man who debated the truth and facts. I find it. No one likes any, you know, whether he was a good Christian man or not, he was also a big, say, no one asked him. No one, he was a big Israeli fan. He loved the flag. And he was trying to, someone in the debate, have a look at the fucking debate. Student Union debate, Oxford. And someone asked him, well, you know, why don't you, every Sunday, you know, what is it, what's a Sunday to us? You're saying, Redbird, that he's a good Christian. Maybe he is, I don't fucking know. Right? Honest. You know, it's all right saying you are. I'm a Roman Catholic, but I'm not a practicing Catholic. But I respect my religion. Like everyone else should respect their religion. But I'm just me, you see. I'm just me. Little old me. Now, everyone on a Sunday, if you're a good Christian, if you're a Christian, what happens on a Sunday? You have the week, 7 days. And each day you work. And God says, or Christ says, oh, listen, you know, Have a day off for the Sabbath. Have a look at what Charlie Kirk said. My Sabbath is on a Saturday. I go along with the Jews. So that's a bit critical of him. If his Sabbath is on a Saturday like the Jews, I've never known anyone like that. No, I've got, listen, I know Jewish lads, especially a couple of politicians, especially musicians. Well, orchestra leader, I know of, and he knows me. A couple of politicians, Jewish, and I've never known anything like it. What he said, that Charlie Kirk, about celebrating, because he wants to unite. And he was going on about, he not once said he condemns what's going on in Gaza. About he evaded that. He was very good evading. He said, I disagree, you know, like, but he kept going on about, guess the date he kept going on about. Yeah, you've got it in one. And that we have a lot of clueless Brits as well. Yep. Yep. You might think I'm clueless. Beth. You might think I'm clueless. And Callum says, nobody is clueless, all different opinions, but the government in every country is the real problem. We are a bunch of pup. I was talking to Francine today, and I said a few things which are private, by the way. I don't want to get into it. I'll be called, I'll be labelled, put it that way. Now, I've been waiting. Look at me. I can't fucking walk. I can't walk. My life is ruined. And the waiting list for me to get seen to has multiplied. Rang up the other day, I said, listen, man, what's happening? You're not priority. And I am. I said, what about my quality of life? What about my quality of life if I'm not priority? She said, I understand what you're saying, but I can't say too much. So how do you think I feel? I've booked a holiday next year, and I had to say to Francine, I'm not going to be able to go. I said, I still want you to go, and Sophia. I said, but there's no way I can go the way I am at the moment, unless it gets seen to. So you're right, Callum, we are puppets, we're all puppets, but what you've got to understand who's running the puppet regime. And it's, you know, people say, is it that von der Leyen? You could say, yeah, but she's a puppet to America. You've only got to look at the trade deal she did with Trump, which put us in a very precarious situation, inflation-wise and economic-wise. If you understand the economics of this country, and you understand about inflation, it's shocking what she did. And she's an unelected bureaucrat. And someone said, oh, she's pulling the state. No, she isn't. She's pulling the strings are being pulled by America for her to coming out with all this absolute garbage. She was a failed minister and defense minister in the German Bundestag. And she's leader of it. You have that Kaya Kallas, an absolute pothead. Annalena Baerbock, who's gone into the UN. Oh, don't forget, she's a puppet of America. So she's got a big fucking job in the UN. You see what I mean? How America controls everything. They control everything. It's all right, them saying, oh yeah, we want to make Palestine, a state. Won't get done. Because America won't allow it. Callum says, I'm a very moderate in opinion, left and right are both clowns. Let's put that simply. Left and right is like a religion now split. Of course it is. Blimey, Franco, you've come across some strange American. I've been 10 times and they've always been complimentary about the UK and Europe. When was the last time you went? It's all changed now. I remember I didn't want to take them, I'm being honest, and they said, listen, take these 11 Americans around. I said, I don't want to, because I knew where it was going to lead to, or what it will lead to. Everything I was saying, I'm not saying they were saying it was wrong. You sure? You sure? If you'd ever seen Fawlty Towers, where you have the episodes of the Waldorf salad and that obnoxious American, I had him in the group. I do know Americans, by the way. I do know like a few good people. I do know a few good people from Chicago. I know a couple from New York. The people from Chicago are musicians. The ones from New York are Liverpool supporters. Good people. I'm not saying because they're Liverpool supporters, but the majority of them. I was watching something on TikTok just come up, and this fella was saying, how many continents are there? And these are two undergraduates, in my opinion, because they were students about 20, 21. And what's a continent? Name a continent beginning with an A. And she didn't know the girl. And he said, America. He went, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, America, yeah. And he carries on by saying, well, name a country beginning with the letter U. And when he went, USA? Yeah. Sounds like two different countries, though. about it. Toscana and Redbird, he was in Following. So sad. May he rest in peace. Stefan. The Russian drones were covered in safe, and I just mentioned that. This is Zelensky. Look. And stupid Poland. Poland. The next is, you know, if America comes near Ukraine with their no-fly zone, it's a nuclear war. They'll just go, oh, fuck you, and send off. That's what it's going to be. That's what it'll end. Listen, get on YouTube tonight and watch a film called The Day After, made in 1983. And you ever, just watch it. And this is what's happening today. It's what's happening today. Look, every film that you see, you know, throughout the years, it's either Russian, isn't it? Something Russian. Like the Russian mafia, like the KGB, like anything. It's shocking. Now you've got the cartels. They call him Maduro, a drug baron. Do you believe that for 1 minute? Do you believe that Maduro's a drug baron in the cartels? And they put a $50 million bounty on it. What right have they got to do that? Oh, I see, yeah. Gold mines and big oil deposits. Far bigger than Saudi Arabia. I forgot about that. Come on, give me a fucking break, will you? Venezuela. That's what I mean about films. Yeah, we'll break these. We'll break these up. Callum says the Oxford students absolutely owned them. Exactly, Frank. Watch it. Watch it. See how good he is. As I said, the only thing I agreed with him was freedom of speech, but I've been saying freedom of speech for fucking years on here. It's gone. And the Redbirds, like good people. And Stefan says the Russians offered to return the bodies of 6,000 soldiers the Ukrainians didn't show, preferring them missing so they won't have to pay 1.5 billion to family. Pretty sure the money is spent elsewhere. It's spent with them. That money is going to the officers of those Azovs and to Zelensky. That's who it's going to. And his cohorts. That's where it's being spread about. And if anyone can't see that, well, you know, there's nothing I can do. Nothing I can say. Spot on there, Step. Oh, another thing, yeah. Did you see the Nepal guy taking it on the mic? Reminded me of a certain Austrian. Yep. No, look, let me try to explain. I think you know Callum anyway. It was signed only last week, about 8 or 9 days ago, that this massive energy pipeline was going from Russia through Nepal, through Nepal to China. And all of a sudden, there was a colour revolution and a coup d'etat. America can't have that. America said, you better get fucking something done now. And it was done. The Red Callum, have you watched many Oxford debates? The students are not that great. Well, if they're not that great, Redbird, neither is Charlie, or was, if you know what I mean. He picks his audiences, but he got totally outflanked. Totally. Unfortunately. And was shouting. He was just shouting. He knew he was lost. And you see him right at the end, staring. So his values to me, being a Christian, I don't mind anyone being, following their values, their ideology, of Christianity. That's fine. But he was trying to make excuses by saying, I'm not a theologian. When he was asked a couple of questions, I thought, yeah, fuck off. And as I said, you know what I mean? I don't like to see anyone shot dead. Hate it. You've only got to look at that girl on the train, that Ukrainian girl going home from work to her parents. Could you imagine her parents? Knock on the door. And no one was there, no one helped her. And I think Stokes' her name is, the judge, who hasn't even got a fucking law degree. Hasn't even got a law, she was never a lawyer, she wasn't anything. Yes, she's a fucking judge, sits in judgment. And she set that fella free. Have a look at her, I'm not saying what she is or anything, just have a look at her. And why she set him free. He was already on bail. And she set him free. That girl would still be working today in McDonald's or wherever she worked, trying to save some money. That beautiful girl. No, I disagree with Charlie. He supports the Israeli flag. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't. I don't like to see people. You want to see the footage I've seen? Just sit here with me like that. Have a look. Have a look at this. Shocking. I can't wait for the Hind film to come out. That child who has over 350 bullets pumped into it by the IDF. Brave soldiers shooting a little girl. Could you imagine her body? Little girl. With all those bullets, she would have been shot to pieces. Unrecognisable. Colin says, Redbird, that girl owns him. And Callum, for the most part, says that Redbird, Charlie was right. No one is perfect. To get through picture, you need all the puzzle parts. Media only gives you a piece here and a piece there. BBC equals brainwashing. BS Corporation. You say that again, Redbird. That's why they didn't want me to go around the country with Neil Oliver. I was supposed to do one part, of the country, and he was doing the other. And because of my accent. BBC. Yes, it's the BBC. Hello. And Steppen says the Nepalese uprising maybe was a coloured revolution. Jury is out for sure. It is in Indonesia, of course, organised by the three-letter agency. Yeah, because they're in Indonesia. They have been there for years. They're everywhere. Israelis have some weird names, says Cal. Netanyahu is in so deep, he is a puppet of the party now. Look, if you commit a crime, no matter who you are, if you commit a crime, and he was up for fraud, and he would have gone to jail for a very, very long time. Think about it. And all of a sudden, we had this October the 7th. So he didn't have to go to jail. Oh, we're at war now. I tell you what, lads, I can't go. I'm the leader of Israel. You know, can't go to court. Not while we're at war. And the Redbirds. Callum, our names will probably be weird to them. No, they're not. That's to the Israelis. Well, if you change it to Netanyahu from Mikalovsky, Mikalovsky's a weird name. Netanyahu. Toscana, to Callum. I can't take the Oxford Union seriously after reading what George had to say. Why, what did he say? But you might as well, not take my words, and just dismiss me. That's what you want. I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered. But how long, you see, Toscana, you said, you've been following for a long time. I knew him, a lot of people on here has only known him for the last 72 hours. Having a clue what he was about. Does you ever remember when he said about gays and transgenders? Well, I don't like transgenders. I'm being honest. I don't want my granddaughter to be going into a toilet and you see a fucking fella there in a frock. You know what I mean? I don't want to see any. I always remember, I don't watch Olympic Games. I think they're phony as well. And I seen this big Moroccan in a final, the final of the boxing, fighting an Italian girl. She gave her good as it got, but she got beaten. He was a man, you see. If you want that, fucking have it. I don't. So I believe Charlie with that. Ticky Tick, great name. It's a novel. It's that naval or what? I don't know. Could be a misprint, predictive text that come out sometimes to me, and I'm fucking reading the things, can't read. Notice how them in Idaho, Frank, what got murdered, never got noticed because someone famous, he gets all the, yeah. Someone mentioned in that debate, someone mentioned about Tulsa. Was it Tulsa? Today, what I was watching, that Charlie And he just dismissed her. He fucking dismissed it. You know, that, no, it wasn't him. It was a young black lad in another thing. And, you know, you see him sitting there, oh, you know, Charlie. And so, and this young black lad said, I've got no. He said, well, it's your fault. You should be getting up out of bed and going, you know, making a better life for yourself. He said, I've tried to. And then he was going on and on. This Charlie fella. And the young lad said, but what about, was it Tulsa? You know, when that young fella, young kid, walked into the church and just sat there and started, and he killed 11 parishioners. Do you ever remember that? All those black people being shot dead by him? Oh, happy days. And he wouldn't answer, he just dismissed it. Good Christian. Hey, good Christian. I'm not an expert, just going off feels, says Dickie Dick. There you go. There you go. People do go off things. Look at me the other week, and those vile things. I know they were trolls, like, but what they were saying, I wouldn't even repeat them to my daughter, by the way. Why, what did they say, Dad? I wouldn't tell her, because they were that shocking. And I was that honest, I was going to pack it up. I was going to pack everything up. I said, fuck this, I'm better than this. Going on here, and you know, people like that coming on here. I'm better than that. Gary Garner. Good evening, new sub here. Hello, Gary. Oh, thanks, fella. Thanks. I'm going to go right through. I'm going to go, thank you, Gary. Welcome to, these are good people, by the way. Callum, we all know the name, Axel. But not many can name these 3 little girls that were murdered by him. Yeah. Yeah. And Simon to Toscana, totally agree. Charlie Kirk was a threat to the extreme left. What has anyone to fear about an open of... Yes, totally agree. His opponents feared him because he told the truth. Who was he telling the truth to? What truth was he telling? Is it because he was holding the, you know, the flag, the Israeli flag, and said, listen, you know, this is getting out of order now? Is it because he said that? Gary, welcome to our family, bro. Cheers, Redbird, says Gary. Gary Garner. I think people are going to be going off me, you know, but it's all opinion. It's what you believe. Look, my ideology is to live in peace and be surrounded by good people. What's wrong with that? But I don't like fucking arseholes preaching to me about certain things. And I suppose someone on here will go, but you're preaching to us. No, I'm just giving you an opinion. You're coming out with opinions. Okay, now. Tosca, of course, the students at Oxford won't have agreed with Charlie. Half of them don't know what sex they are. And like sheep just go with the flow to fit in, instead of using their own brains and opinion. Well, I could have gone to Oxford, being honest. Couldn't afford it. You say that about me. Do I know my sex? As my mum says, my mum's mate said, oh, he's going to be a lovely priest when he grows up, because he has that altar boy stuff on. Me, a priest. Got over the shock of being an altar boy. Bella. Welcome, Gary. Lovely. Well said, Sascara, says Bella. Oh, yeah, look. Simon, spot on, lad, says that people can't judge him on a wee bit of info, but some do. You need to have watched him regularly to see the truth of the man. True enough. As I said before, Redbird, you know, people have only known about him for 72 hours since it's, you know, fucking hell, this is things again. They never knew. They never knew. Until the lads was shot dead. And Callum, Redbirds, yeah, then a lot of bigots not caring about them smashed up companies and looted. That's strange how that happens. Well, I think she's gone. As a wise man once said, when you talk, you are only repeating what you already know, but if you listen, you may learn something new. Yeah, that's a good one, Simon. That's it, that's good, that. Whether it's getting at me, I don't know. But it's a clever way, if you know. And Gary says, just having a peek at the channel vids, Conspiracies and Football, my two favourite things. How the hell have the algos missed this place for me? Till now. Oh, thank you. The algorithms. See, people, they tune in, but they don't press the likes for some reason, but they tune in every week. And it's just to get the algorithm, they don't subscribe either. Which is, I don't know. But thank you for that, Gary. Appreciate it. Really? That Toscana, stop with the Chinese. I don't understand it. Well, there you go. That says it all. Spot on. What's wrong with our Chinese? I like our Chinese. And Gary. Frank is on the MI6 watch list. That's why the algorithm is messed up. Fuck. Oh dear. Do you know what I was like? I got like some long sleeve pullovers cleaned, you know when the summer came in, spring. So I'll get them cleaned. I didn't know where to put them. I never had a clue. I was looking for them all day. All day. And you're not going to believe it. I found them. Because where they were, I looked at this coat that I never wear. A coat. They were underneath that. They were under. I remember now. I put them, you know, because they were all on hangers, and that was on every hanger. The coat, so I put them in. Put it down. Just never knew where to put them. I've got one on now, by the way. I felt a bit cold, like last night. Franco, I was there 2 years ago in Memphis, says Toscana. Very good. Very good. Redbird. Ratlinsky, yes. That's where the money's going. That's where the money's going. He's dying. He needs someone to take on Russia. He wants America to go in, but America know best. I'm telling you now. Poland's not where to carrot. See, the Polish army's already there. You know that, don't you? And they're getting shot every day, blown up and whatever. And Zelensky crying out for it. How long could they be giving them arms? And everything that goes there gets blown up or captured. I always remember who was in charge. It was Rishi Sunak. And he gave him our tanks, the chieftain or whatever it was. And he said, don't let it go to the front. Now, if you're going to give arms and, you know, you're at war, why don't you let it go to the front? You know why? They didn't want to capture it, and they fucking captured it. And they blew a load up and captured one. Getting all the information off it, you see. Bella Toscana, grazie, feeling better today. I thought you were going. Thought you were going. And Simon to the perhaps if we had people like Kirk, who was not afraid to challenge the liberty, he's dead. Can you think about that? He's fucking dead. Not afraid. In our college and uni institution, perhaps our country would be in a better place. So you want it to be like America? Really, Simon? You want this to be like a fucking America? Really? My advice to you, if you're young enough, Simon, go and emigrate over to America, mate. Go to Philadelphia. Screaming out there for non-drug addicts. Might get a job. I'm being sarcastic. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. But I don't want to be like America. I don't want to be like them. I really don't. I'd rather have our own culture. I'd rather have European culture. You know what I mean? I'll give you a clue about, you know, another thing about our American clueless friends. This couple were in Pompeii, and they said, they left it like this? What kind of workmanship is this? Even at the Forum, the Roman Forum, should have done a better job. I wish I could write and speak Chinese. Big community where my family live. Lovely people. Chinese are great people. Why is America, you know, Toscana, you know, you're saying about how wonderful the people are. Have a look who fucking their enemies are. That's why I keep saying on here all the time, what's the Chinese ever done to us? What's the Iranians ever done to us? What's the North Koreans ever done to us? What's the Russians ever done to us? And yet they're enemy. They're the axis of evil because America says so. America's trying to destroy China. Do you know that, Toscana? Fucking hell. Callum, Frank, do you think Russia will attack Israel? Because I've seen some about Putin condemning it, and we know he's not. He's got a loose head. If this thing wouldn't have been going on, I think something would have been done. He would have stopped what's going on. He would have stopped that as well. That Giovanni, who America made at, you know, the head shopper, Giovanni, leader of ISIS. You remember them? You know, ISIS. Remember the Islamic State? Remember? And what he was doing, chopping heads off, not just of like, you know, American oil people and British. And you remember that Ken Wigley from here? And he had his head chopped off from Liverpool by them. Just ordinary workers. And he lopped his head off. These are the same people that America put a $10 million bounty on the head, Giovanni. And now he's president of Syria. Try and make sense of that. Well, he's a fucking big puppet, isn't he? And the Turks don't realise that he's looking at the Turks. I'm talking about America. And Gary says, anti-Russian propaganda being around for it. It's always been around, Gary. Gary, you've only got to look at James Bond. You know, from the likes of Russia with love. Everything is Russian. You've only got to look at John Wick. I like John Wick, by the way. The franchise of that Russian mafia. So it's always been an enemy, ever since the Cold War. Ever since one of the greatest military leaders of any generation, of any era, Georgy Zhukov. Georgy Zhukov. Couldn't get me through. Georgy, he got to Berlin, and the Americans were like, are they there? They were there, he was sorting out the Germans, and he wouldn't go in, and yet they tried to make it. It's like Churchill. It's like Churchill, he made a humiliating defeat at the hands of the Germans at Dunkirk. And it was humiliating, it was terrible. The Germans said, put your fucking arms down, or we'll bomb the fuck out of you. And they went, okay. And they did. That was humiliating. And they told the French, go on, fuck off, go back into France. And they did. But we made a great thing, which it was because Hitler said, let them go. 300,000 of them, soldiers. We're here now And you've got Starmer wanting to fight the Chinese and the Russians. What have they got? They've got nothing. The British Army has nothing. And when you go back to 1939 and 1940, what was our soldiers marching with? Fucking poles, mop poles, brush poles. They had no arms. Same as now. They haven't got a big army. They're wanting to send 20,000 armed troops into Russia. Russia's just annihilated 1.9 million. They reckon it's 2 million now, Ukrainians. And they're sending 20,000. Yeah, okay. Sorry, God. Simon the loony left over here won't allow it. They can't handle the truth. Are you talking about these liberals? You know, what is the truth? Can any fucking one tell me what is the truth? Remember Shakespeare? Hey. What did he say? Oh, what a terrible era we live in. As the idiots govern the blind. Think about it. Are we being governed by idiots? Yes. Yes. And that's Shakespeare going back to the 16th century. The 1500s. The better you are is music to my heart, says the Red Bird. Yes, Red Bird. Anyone on here, you know, who is ill, we pray. I pray. I pray every night for you lot, even if you disagree with me. Look after my people on here. That's what I say. Gary says, and on the stuff Zelensky snorts, of course. Yes. Yeah. You wouldn't cocoa with his little white powder. Mongolia was the Russian pipeline to China, Frank. Nepal is the proposed highway between India and China. Yeah, I know about that. Mongolia, it's going to go through Mongolia, and they're going to benefit from it. Yeah, but this was another one. This was another one through to China, going through Nepal. I don't know whether you're aware or not. I don't know whether you're aware. No, I'll tell you what it was. Beg your pardon. It was high-speed train to get from A to B. That's what it was. The Chinese, the bullet trains. You must be sitting on the train like that. You know, when you get on a plane and it takes off and you go right back. Incredible. And that's it. The colour revolution started and bang. Where did they get the guns from? Nepal. Come on. Hey, Nepal. Big guns. Oh, for fuck's sake. Fancy trying to have a colour revolution in Mongolia? think Toscana's gone, Bella. Doesn't like me anymore. Anyway, justice for Arena, yes. Yeah, I like that, Callum. I like that. And so, Callum, with respect, Charlie Kirk was a very intellect. No, he wasn't. Guns down at the age of 31 by a bit. He was a big man. Listen, Americans can talk. They're fantastic talkers. And it's, you're wrong, I'm right, I'm American. That's how he comes over. Or that's how he came over. Past tense. I'm right, you're wrong. That's what he was trying to do in the Oxford Union debate. I'm right, you're wrong. His attitude was shocking. His only crime was being an influencer, not a politician, and a goddamn good one at that. An influencer. Don't know who the fuck he tried to never influence me. Callum, with respect, Charlie Kirk. Simon, he wasn't, but I said my due. Rest in peace to him. Yes. Same here. The lefty silence on Arena is deafening. Yes, Gary. Gary, agree. Some people are so strong about their side of the story. No brain. Yeah. Toscana. Simon, agree. I've close friends with who are very left-leaning, but unfortunately they just won't listen to a different point of view, especially when I give them my opinion on Starmer. Well, if anyone, I think, if anyone thinks Starmer's doing a good job, God blimey, it's no use talking to them, because they're fucking clueless. Look, I go shopping. I'm a fella, and I go shopping. And I can't believe the prices. I remember the first time I went shopping, and I picked up, honestly, some, and they were 50p. And I went, oh, have some of them. 2 weeks later, they were 150. They trebled in price. That's just one item. So if anyone comes to me for it, I don't expect any biscuits. Can't afford them. Starmer is a clown. Clown, says Callum to Toscana. He's a dangerous clown, put it that way. He's a dangerous clown. You've only got to look at what's going on in this country now. You've only got to look. I was watching something yesterday. And what was it this morning? I don't know, my sleep pattern. I don't know what it was. And France is on fire. France. Shocking. What's happening there? And the far right of Marie Le Pen, their party, they're going to walk it, cakewalk it. You've only got to look at, like, as I mentioned, I want to get back to this, by the way, and I have mentioned this numerous times, about von der Leyen. When she stopped the Georgescu becoming president of Romania. Who told her it was America? Fucking can't have him there, can't have him in there. So they cancelled it. The EU cancelled a sovereign country's election. Because a fella who didn't want to know about Ukraine rather than he wanted to focus on his own people, like Viktor Orbán's and Fico of Slovakia and Vucic of Serbia. And you've only got to look at Zelensky. What he's doing, he's trying to blow up he's shelling a pipeline that gives all the energy to Slovakia and Hungary. Now, Hungary is a NATO member and in the EU. Right? Think about it. Has anything been done by a country that's not even in the EU and is certainly not in NATO? And what are they trying to do to Russia because of a fucking drone that was taped up and sent over? Trying to cause a World War III. Simple. And yet, look at this. They're bombing all the time. That's how pathetic it is. So von der Leyen cancelled these. Then a fella named Simeone took over. And he was so far ahead, and so far, it was impossible for him to be taken over. Then all of a sudden he fucking lost. He lost the election. How come? Nothing said about that, is there? Because they're all right now, they've got a fucking puppet in. Fucking shocking. Think about the Romanians. The majority of them, the 80% of them, and they've got to live under the rule of the EU because they cancelled two government who wanted different. Identity politics for you, Callum says to that boy, with respect, you are wrong about Charlie. You haven't watched enough of him to see it. I don't know. To me, he seems to have watched a lot of them. Well, it's up to Callum to explain if he has or hasn't. And Toscana, Gary, I agree. The same with the feminists who keep well quiet regarding the gang rapes. Well, you had Elon Musk. He came out and mentioned it, didn't he? The gang rapes, because it was. He said, I'm talking months ago. He said, well, why has everything been brushed under the carpet in Great Britain? And he opens a can of worms, didn't he? Indeed, Tosca, says Gary. Redbird, says Callum, honestly, you don't have to keep on. I got it. For fuck's sake. You like him. I don't. End of. See, that's the problem with some, opinions. You try to persuade, and that's where arguments start. No, he's good. And if you don't like a certain opinion, that's it. Just leave it alone. Because there's no one that can change their mind. And it's sad. When it comes to it, you're a great bunch of people. I'm very, intelligent, might I add. People disagree with me. Fair enough. With what I say. But I'm fucking not interested in him. He's a Yank. And there's more said about him than little fucking children in Gaza being bombed to fuck. and the atrocities caused by the Azovs in Ukraine. Try and look up Bucha, B-U-C-H-A. See who they blamed for the massacre there. They blamed the Russians. But they didn't realise that there was a few journalists there. And when they got so freedom, they were like that. It wasn't the Russians, it was the fucking Ukrainians themselves trying a big red flag. So when you start thinking about that and why journalists are being massacred in Gaza, why hasn't Netanyahu allowed any, say like NBC or CNN of America in? Why haven't they done that? Because they can't afford to fucking shoot them dead or blow them up. Because they don't want to see what's happening. Could you imagine the stench in Gaza? Because there's thousands of bodies still underneath the rubble. And it's shocking. And nothing's being said. Nothing's being said. Absolutely nothing. And Stefan says, anyone has any good news? Even the ghost of yesterday's level of nicer stories that we must witness every day now. But yeah. As I said, I couldn't hear him last night, you know. I'm going to go right down, people. I'm going to go right down. And Simon said, yeah, look, they're fucking still arguing. Look, if I see another comment about Charlie Kirk, I'm not going to answer it. Okay? I'm not going to read it out. I'll read this one. Because it's getting beyond now. You've had your point. You're not going to convince anyone. You won't convince Callum. Oh. Callum, it's more than Charlie Kirk. It's the threat of freedom of speech. Oh, for fuck's sake, Simon, we can't say nothing now. We know that. He doesn't have to come out and say it. Freedom of speech must be done. Yeah. That's why he was shot. Fucking hell. What gives anyone the right to take another person's life because they disagree? It is not called a... Thank you. Do you believe in the EU democracy and the American democracy? Do you believe in that? Anyone who believes in the American democracy are fucking thick. I'll say that to you now. Where is the democracy? Where's the democracy of trying to fucking take out South American, Latino countries? The Middle East, Europe, Russia, wanting to go to war with Iran, wanting to go to war with China. Come on, is that good democracy? Because they don't like our thing. Have you ever noticed when they say about China, what's the second word they say? Elon Musk, not Elon Musk. Charlie Kirk said it in the union debate. He said, you know, China and communist. Communist. Oh, fuck off. That's what I don't like, you see. They just throw little things in. So, I'm not going to go on. If I see, Gary, I don't even like biological women boxing each other, let alone true. Yes. It's fucking shocking. That's what I mentioned about before, about the Olympics. And that Italian girl fighting a fucking big Moroccan. You can have free speech, Simon, again. When I did I say you couldn't. What did our forefathers shed blood for to ensure we could apparently live in a free... Hey, listen, Simon, I've said this before. I don't know whether you were listening to me. Not today, but I have said it. My dad would be fucking spinning in his grave what he's seen on the British Victory Parade in May. Fucking Ukrainian soldiers marching. Do you know what Ukrainian soldiers are? Have you heard of the Azovs? They're full of fucking Nazis. They're full of them. Committing atrocities. They were in the Donbass, in the Zaporozhye, Lugansk, Crimea, and Kherson regions. Oblast, I should say. Fucking stop that. And they had them fucking marching with us. They were our enemy. Did you know that? They were our enemy. The Banderites. The new MI6 girl whose granddad was the butcher of Ukraine. Think about it. Mates who's involved with all the fucking Nazis family. His dad and granddad. Von der Leyen. Fucking and Kaya Kallas. Jesus Christ. Have I blasphemed? Yes. Well, you're right there. Sacrifices for not. My dad was nearly killed 4 times. He was in the SBS, Special Boat Service. He was an officer. And he used to go in. He said, I couldn't let the lads go in first. I made sure that, you know, they followed me rather than me just brave man and fucking marching. Debate and diplomacy should always be encouraged, never shut down. Listen, yes, Stefan, but it's not going like to and fro. I'm right, you're wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. I won't accept that. I seen that James Hewitt's son went to Ukraine to help the Azov Nazis and support them. Harry the Nazi. Yeah. 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 Oh yeah, he supports the Azovs, doesn't he? Harry. He's fucking mega with him. What's he fucking like? Fucking shocking. Is he getting, you know, does Zelensky think that he's going to get support now of the British? Because a failed fucking royal was there. A failed royal. He's not really a royal. Oh yeah, because of Princess Di. Callum, says I didn't say you did, but in history, those who spoke out against the deep state, what happened to them? We have never learned and doubt we will ever will, sir. Again, I've always mentioned the deep state. And that's who ruled you, me, Callum, Steve Mulholland, everyone. Toscana, Bella Italia, Gary Garner, rule us all, Redbird, the Anfield Roar, who's not even here tonight. All right, now we'll stop that, okay. I won't read it out, but I'll get the point. The Redbird. Callum, we don't have free speech in this country. Look how many people of being no, he knows that though. Red Bird. Some jail for tweeting something, yet others are allowed to say what they want. It depends on what side you're on. Absolutely. Absolutely. Great comment. I think everyone on here is totally against. I think so. I might be shooting a bolt. I don't know. It's totally against what's happening in Gaza. And we know and whether the most corrupt country and the most defunct leader is getting loads of money off everybody. And that's Mr. Zelensky and their country, Ukraine. And the proxy war that's going on to make a lot of congressmen very rich. Am I right? Or am I wrong? Let me know. Yes or no. Am I right or am I wrong? Just yes or no. Franco, he was celebrating now. Do you mean Callum? No, he said rest in peace. If you say, I hope it's not Callum you're going on. Or he was celebrating Charlie Kirk's assassination. No problem. If he didn't agree with him politically, he's entitled to his opinion. Good shout. Red Birds are moderate. I think both sides are very crazy. Extremely crazy, you should have said. Look, when I was growing up, I'm totally confused. I don't know whether I'm left, right, centre, or definitely not a liberal though. And I was just on the left. I was a socialist. I wanted the best for Liverpool. I wanted the best for the country. I wanted the working classes. Look, I've given lectures, I've been on the telly, I've been on loads of fucking things about the 1911 general strike. For the fabric of life. Our people in Liverpool went on strike. For the fabric of life. 2 lads were shot dead. The government sent up 50,000 armed troops. They sent from Birmingham and Leeds 6,000 police. And every fucking one of them had to be 6 foot or over when they were choosing them. And, you know, with the big helmets, they look fucking 7 foot. And some of the photographs I've got, fucking hell. You see them walking. Oh, they're looking up at them. These cops from Birmingham and Leeds. Because our police said, this strike's not going to last and you want us to go in, baton charging them. And reading out riot acts. And what happened to our police after the First World War? They all fucking sacked. Every one of them. I don't know whether you know about that. And Callum, it's not personal from me and others directed to you. We are speaking generally. And Toscana. Franco, there's nothing wrong with us all having... Of course, debating is a good and healthy... I don't want to fucking debate. I'm not Charlie Kirk. I also think circumstances can make you think a certain way. Well, circumstance. What kind of circumstances have we got? Hey, we should be fucking going on about this country. We should be going on about what the Starmer has done to Zelensky by giving him for fucking 100 years, 5 billion to Ukraine for the next 100 years. Now, that 5 billion, I might think, well, in about 70 years' time, 5 billion won't be worth 5, but no, it goes up every fucking year to the equivalent of what it is. Why didn't he give it to the 4.5 million kids that are below the poverty line in this country? Why doesn't he give it to the likes of the pensioners on the NHS? Hey, why? Why? It's what should be discussed. Yeah, he gives it to fucking Ukraine. A fucking country full of Nazis. Whom, as someone said, to be turning in the grave. Well, they never said that. But they just said, we sacrificed, Simon it was, we sacrificed ourselves. My fucking dad did. And uncles and everyone. So I've got something to say about it. Me. And Callum says, Redbeards, you think I was on one side? I'd have the British flag and my name and the Palestinian flag. Yeah. See, look, I think people get mixed up with the flags, waving of flags. And this is just my opinion. Tell me if I'm wrong. When Palestinian flags are being waved, say by the likes of Callum, for example, it's to tell you what's going on in Gaza, to remind you of the atrocities, of the genocide, what's going on there. Did you hear about that? A little family. He said, yeah, you stay there, I'll go and get the food. And they went to the food, fucking shot dead. Yeah, well, we see all that, don't we? I'm not fucking talking anymore. TW. Press the likes, Frank. Tuscan. Another goes, I mightn't have any fucking more, I'm fucking pissed off now. I really mean it. I might just have fucking watch-alongs. Might fuck my history one off. And this, I can't be having this. I'm a fucking sick man, you know what I mean? I'm waiting. I mentioned the fabric of life. Not being fucking left in the fucking queue. A queue. Why have I been left in a fucking queue? Why aren't I a priority? Who are the priority people? Who are the priority people? That's taken my place. I could sell you another thing, but I'll be labelled. Fucking shocking. There's too many labels going around for everyone, and I don't want to be fucking labelled. Frank, I wasn't having a go at you. Just trying to use the quote to illustrate. No, I think it was a great quote. I could give you loads of fucking quotes myself, if you know what I mean. Just like quotes that, the way people misunderstand. Look, let me read a quote here. I'll read this fucking quote. And it's by Freud. The more perfect a person is on the outside, the more demons they have on the inside. And who said that? That was Freud. Little Freudy, mate. The more demons they have. Callum. No, I didn't. On a Sikh, she got. Oh no, I didn't see that. What I did see was I was looking at something on YouTube, and you see this fella just leaning against the wall, and this other fella, you know, obviously with his phone. And this is in Sweden. You might have seen it, I don't know. And this girl was walking down the road, you know, in the evening wasn't light. And she was walking down, and this fella who was against the wall, hit her. Just whacked her. And she went down and rolled against the parked cars. And they were laughing. That was in Sweden. I'm not reading that one on colour. Sikh people are wonderful. They are very patriotic. Yeah, of course, they have been for years. They have been. Indians. I know a girl. She's a friend of mine. Her and her husband. And they go over. Well, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not doing any more podcasts. But let me just tell you about her. And she used to go, well, she still does, I'm sorry, not used, goes over to India every year, I think twice a year, and she helps the poor. And she's a good friend of mine. She's a beautiful lady, her and her husband. Her and her husband. Just a lovely couple. Helping the poor in India. And she said, they're lovely people. She said, Franco, she says, they're lovely people. There's lovely people everywhere. Lovely people everywhere. TW. America is fucked up. Come on, see. You wouldn't think it. And the Red Bear, even the Sikhs have been trying to stop the, you're right. You're right. Say, I know the history between India and Pakistan, you know, like the Punjabis and all this. I know the history. That's why they broke away. He said, fuck you, you can have your ideology. We don't want it. That's the Sikhs saying that, by the way. The Red Bird. I think we are fucked as well. The Red Bird. Sorry to be laughing. America has 250 years of history and 275. Absolutely. 6 wars they've never been involved in since their independence. 6 wars. Every war started by it, they've always got involved. I'll do my last show tomorrow, by the way. I'm going to have my TV and film, film and TV review. so you can have all your last says, because every time I do that, I mention a couple of films and then, oh yeah, then something gets mentioned, then we just go off on a tangent. But I will be doing a watch along on Sunday. China has had an expansion of foreign wars, and the Chinese are the threat. All is said. Yeah. Simon. Frank, you are entitled to your viewpoint. If you want to be sarcastic, that's fine. But you tell me who's going into our colleges and institutions, and no one. No one. I could tell you, I always remember this South African coming into our university. I didn't know that he was coming in to give a fucking talk, because I just got told, listen, there's a fella, you know, forget his name. That's a Dutch name. And he said, he wants to talk to you in your tutorial. I said, what about? And he said about South Africa. So I said, yeah, okay. So anyway, we went in, give it all that. And we went and had a cup of tea. And I can't tell you what he said to me in private. Fuck away. I said, what? He said, yeah. So, don't ask me, because I won't fucking tell you. But think about South Africa. Anyway, Frank, I'm off. Got to get ready for the gym, says Callum. The gym now? You kidding me? Cheers, mate. Cheers, Callum. Right. Let's see. I'll just do a few more. A healthy debate is a good debate. Be nice, might all agree with each other, and that's the great thing about debates. There you go. Got a thumbs up for that. Smash them likes for Frank, please. They won't get likes. We go on. The fuck's he? Does he think he is? IBR, once they force digital IDs and digital wallets, we won't be allowed to question any establishment war narrative like the slaughter of the Palestine children or the Ukrainian proxy war. Absolutely. You've only got to look who is bringing this out, what kind of ideology she has. Because it's getting worse and worse and worse. Good night, Frank and Joe. Until next time, wish you all the best, says Stefan. Good night. Give Danny Yella my love, please. Yes, says Toscana. Yes, says Johan. And Toscana says, no, I'm meaning that George fella at Oxford Uni, definitely not Cal. Definitely not Callum. 5 billion for now. It will be adjusted for inflation in the future. Exactly, Johan. Exactly. And we're supposed to just go, oh yeah, it's nice, isn't it? And Simon, to me, who's bothered? Come on, let's be honest, this podcast care. But he was discussing our real issues, if you, out Frank, are called a racist, I've always been called a racist, and I'll tell you for why I have in a moment. Racist, a Nazi, all kinds. Don't like them, vote them out. Yeah, I was called a racist because you know what I am, right? And I think I'm a good one. Don't mean a racist, good racist. And it's because I said that no slaves ever landed in Liverpool. It wasn't economically viable, and they would have been dead if they tried to get here. And there's no proof that they landed anyway, you know. And I was called a racist. Oh, you're a racist then. Because they did. And that was it. I just went, no more. Don't fucking dead these people. So I was called a racist. Oh, fuck off. It's so easy to label anyone. The flags have been exposed as a government-driven agenda to stoke up division and hate as they are desperate for riots and martial law. That'll be the most frighteningest thing if that came about, to be honest. And Simon says, Jesus, Julie Sudbury. Oh, she's a lovely person. Julie's a friend. Julie, what are you like? Have you been, Julie, I know I was swearing, wasn't I? I'm sorry. Her fella is one of the great groups, the Shakers, the resident band down at the Cavern Club. Julie, I can't move anymore. I can't, Julie, I'll have to tell you I'm fucked, honest. I can't walk. That's why I haven't been doing anything. Sorry about that. Give Tony my regards. The Shakers. And I know that he'll be there tomorrow watching them. Or Sunday, isn't it? Sunday. Sunday's his day. Oh, lovely to see you, Julie. I'm sorry for swearing. Julie doesn't think I swear, you see. She thinks I'm a lovely fella. Oh, Julie. And Simon. Who cares for the sick and disabled, the state of our hospitals, the poor, the homeless, the working class? Our elected politicians, they look after one thing, their back pockets. Brilliant. Are you really surprised? Says Simon. Yes. Great comment. Great comment, that. And the microphone looks very professional. Can't get rid of it. Johan, frank apologies. The CK stuff overtook the chat tonight. Oh yes. Instead of graver issues. This is exactly what the deep state wanted to cause divide among us common folk, instead of focusing on their crimes. Yeah. Totally agree. That's why each week I was coming on and saying about the deep state, saying about proxy wars, saying about, you know, how these people are making more and more and more money. And to prop up a Nazi regime. That's why the paperclip the other month. And it's still going today. Where do you think the Azovs will go? Soon as that war in Ukraine, where are those Azovs are going? They're not going to fucking stay in Ukraine. Are they? No way. They'll end up in America, as you know. Won't fucking ends up here. Ah, lovely Julie, laughing at me. Johan, compulsory voting, says Simon to Johan. Then no one can, they don't get a government they deserve. No, of course they don't. They're all the bloody same. Julie, your daughter is friends with my son. I'll come. Will you? Everyone swears, says to you. Oh, Julie, will you come and see me, please? Oh, come and see me. And if Tony's not too busy playing drums in his band and going off to Germany and the States and everywhere, bring him along. Love to see him. I haven't seen him for yonks. Such a sweet person. Thanks, Julie, for saying everybody swears. Get it out so Franco to ease the joint pain. Oh. Do you know when I finish this now? You want to see me trying to get up? It's shocking, you know. Really shocking. Your little knees give away and struggling. Oh, it's shocking. And I won't stoke the fire, but why was Bibi Mililovsky the first world leader to tweet about it? Yes, about Charlie Kirk. Yeah. Minutes before Trump, they played us again. Yes. See, these are the little things that they don't think that are relevant. Oh, sweet that. Great point there, Johan. Exactly, good point, says IBR to Johan. Oh, thanks, Julie. I'd love to see you, honestly. I haven't seen you for yonks. That's how bad I am. Remember when we went out and you had to ring? The last time I went out, how long ago was that? And that was my birthday, and you and Tony had to bring me, when we were finished, and bring me to the car, didn't you? And Tony drove me home. That's how I've gone much worse since then. Thank you, Julie. Love you. You know that. You know that, sweetheart. So, thanks for tonight, says Simon. Agree to disagree, but at least you give a forum and allow and read our opinions and views. I'm glad I don't shout anymore. But anyway, hopefully I'll see some of you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Oh, thank you, Julie. Thank you. Later, I'll tell Francine tomorrow. She's coming down to take me shopping after the morning show. I made up that you'd shout. Oh, Julie. Thank you. And for that lovely gesture by a very, very dear friend of mine, and I mean a dear friend. I'll leave you all and hopefully see you tomorrow. And as the beautiful Italians say, ci vediamo. Ci vediamo. Like our lovely Bella. Buonanotte, Franco, grazie. Thank you. Good night, everyone. Great show, Don Franco. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ah, the lovely Tosca. Buonanotte, grazie, Franco and chatters. Hope you all have a great weekend. And 3 points. Yes. Johan. Thank you, Frank, for enduring us tonight. We love you, Frank. Please don't stop these shows. Have a good night. You legends. Not lovely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Frank. Top man says TW. And the lovely Julie. So, as I said, as the Italians would say, a domani, ci vediamo. Ciao. Ciao, bella.